Well, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure to welcome my friend and colleague Evangelos here to London today. It's an important time for Greece, preparing for the presidency of the European Union. And the United Kingdom is enthusiastic about the Greek presidency. We've discussed the priorities during that period, particularly the need for economic growth across the whole of Europe, the maritime priority, which both Greece and Italy will be able to take forward. We've discussed the issues of migration and issues within the Eurozone, so we've had a good discussion about European issues. Also, of course, we're able to celebrate a good bilateral relationship between the UK and Greece. We have a good economic relationship, more than $3 billion of trade a year, many connections between our peoples, including in tourism, of course. And we've talked about the global issues as well, including the agreement we made with Iran last weekend. I've been able to brief my colleague about that and about the next steps in that. And one of the reasons we've been able to make that agreement is that in Europe we have stood well together in the implementation of sanctions. This has involved sacrifices for many countries, including Greece, but it is now paying off because it is helping, seriously helping, to bring about an agreement on the Iranian nuclear issue. We've also talked about the situation in Syria and our common support for a Geneva peace conference now set for January, January the 22nd. And so I think we've had a good discussion, and we want to help in any way during the Greek presidency of the European Union. And I wish our Greek colleagues every success in presiding over the EU over the coming 6 months. Thank you.
William, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this invitation and for this excellent opportunity to discuss directly with you on a bilateral basis. First of all, for the priorities of the upcoming Greek presidency of the Council of the European Union. As you know very well, the list of our priorities is very clear. The first priority, not only for Greece, but for every European country and society, is growth, job creation, the protection of the social dimension, the new rules of economic governance, the banking union, the monitoring of the European borders, the problem of irregular immigration, and our horizontal priority is also very important, not only for Greece for historical and geographical reasons, but the Europe as a unity, the maritime integrated policy. On the global issues, we share the same concerns and we have the same priorities. On Syria, on Iran, it's absolutely important to go ahead a political solution through the procedure of Geneva Conference. For the Syrian humanitarian crisis, the political solution is the unique solution. The new agreement on the Iranian nuclear program is something very important and very productive, also for the Syrian crisis. The Cyprus problem was a central point of our discussion. We need a viable, fair, acceptable solution, always in line with the resolutions of the Security Council of the United Nations, a solution acceptable by the two communities through referendum. This is something very important, absolutely vital for a new moment on Cyprus. We support the initiatives of President Anastasiadis, and we are always ready to give our support in any international effort toward this direction. The last but not least point is our common willingness to work together, not only during the semester of the Greek presidency, for finalize a new European narrative. It's absolutely important to present and to offer to our European citizens a new design for Europe, a new project for the European integration. This is something absolutely vital especially for countries under crisis after 4 years of austerity policies, because now Greece is a credible member of the European Union, ready to project very important, unique fiscal and structural achievements, like the primary surplus. The Greek primary surplus is the best in the European Union and the Eurozone, and also our structural achievements are absolutely important and vital for our main goal and main target, the return on growth, on positive rates of growth. This is something very, very vital and important for us. Thank you very much, William, once again, for your readiness to cooperate with the Greek presidency and also to cooperate with us on a bilateral basis. And I'm waiting now for your visit in Athens.
Thank you very much indeed. A couple of questions?
On Cyprus, first of all, because you didn't mention it. First of all, are you concerned by what seems to be rather slow progress in Cyprus between the two leaders? And also, have you identified any room for further involvement by the EU?
Well, I don't think it helps any people concerned for us to talk about slow progress or quick progress. We wish them well in reaching a solution. And the United Kingdom encourages that. We've had a good discussion about it today. I also discussed it in Istanbul last week with the Turkish foreign minister. Of course, we encourage progress and we encourage agreement, but it's not for the United Kingdom to try to decide what that is. It would be a tremendous step forward in European affairs, in world affairs, if the right solution could be found. But that's up to the people of Cyprus, and it's up to the leaders involved. So we wish them well in trying to reach that solution.
In Cyprus, if I have the possibility to make an additional remark, in Cyprus we need a viable solution in line with the UN resolutions, but also in line with the so-called European acquis. Cyprus is a member of the European Union. It's absolutely important to protect the European character of the Cyprus Republic.
And on immigration,
Similar problem?
well, we do. Our societies do face issues on immigration, and we've talked about the challenge for Mediterranean countries, and in particular the need to tackle where this problem arises in source countries and transit countries. It's very important to work with North African countries and to improve security, for instance, in Libya, border security in Libya. We are doing a lot of work with the Libyan government. Their Prime Minister was here on Sunday, and we hope this will be of help. And I was explaining the proposals that the Prime Minister put forward yesterday about making sure that the free movement of workers is sustainable for the future. It's not for benefits that people should be moving. It's for work, and that's very clear in our proposals. So we've had a good discussion about that today. One other question.
If I may, Mr. Hague, you mentioned Iran and the concrete steps that you discussed with Mr. Venizelos. Could you maybe detail to us some of what those concrete steps are? We saw today, obviously, that UN inspectors have been invited in. What are we expecting to move from the short term to the long term on that issue?
Well, the next step is to form a joint commission between the E3+3 and Iran that will oversee the implementation of the agreement that we made at the weekend. The agreement also involves much more access to and much more regular access to more sites for the IAEA inspectors, and these arrangements have to be put in place ready for the 6-month period of this agreement to begin, which we hope will be before the end of January. And by that time the European Union will be asked to suspend some sanctions, the ones set out in the agreement. The United States will be doing the same, and we expect the Iranians to be ready to implement their side of the agreement. So this has a lot to do. All of this has to be done in the coming weeks, and it's very important to maintain the momentum behind this agreement. I'd better let you go. So thank you very much indeed. Great to see you here, and we'll see you at the NATO Foreign Ministers meeting, I would think. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you for coming.